If you're over 40 and doing intermittent fasting, you might be quietly shutting down the very stem cells you're trying to activate. And no, the problem isn't how long you fast, it's what happens after. Most people focus on the fasting window like it's the entire game. They stretch it, optimize it, push it further, thinking more time without food means more repair. But inside your body, something very different may be happening. Think of your body like a high-tech repair factory. Fasting is supposed to clear out the damaged parts, old proteins, broken cells, metabolic waste. It's the cleanup phase. But here's where it goes wrong. Without the right signal afterward, it's like shutting off the power just as the repair crew is about to start working. The debris gets cleared, but the rebuilding never fully begins. And those stem cells you've heard about, they're not constantly active. They're more like elite master engineers, dormant, waiting for a precise biological signal to step in and rebuild tissue, restore muscle, and reverse cellular wear. Miss that signal, and they stay idle. Which means you could be fasting consistently, staying disciplined, doing everything right, and still accelerating aging, slowing recovery, and losing muscle at the exact time your body needs it most. And here's the unsettling part. This could already be happening inside you right now. So the real question is, what's the one simple shift that turns fasting from a repair shutdown into a full-body regeneration switch? After the age of 40, your body's natural regenerative capacity doesn't just slow down. It can drop by as much as 50% in certain tissues. Now picture that clearly. Imagine your body's internal repair crew being cut in half overnight, while the workload keeps increasing every single day. Damage doesn't pause just because your repair system weakens. It keeps piling up, silently. Inside your muscles, tiny tears from daily movement begin to linger longer than they should. In your organs, worn-out cells aren't replaced as efficiently. Even in your brain, subtle cellular damage can accumulate, affecting clarity, memory, and long-term function. And here's where intermittent fasting can unintentionally make things worse. When fasting is pushed too far without the right refeeding signal, your body can shift into a protective mode, elevating stress signals and conserving energy instead of rebuilding. Instead of activating repair, it delays it. This isn't some distant future problem. This could be unfolding inside your cells right now. Here's what no one is telling you about intermittent fasting after 40. I'm Dr. Gunter, and over the past several years working with patients over 40, I started noticing a pattern that didn't make sense at first. These were disciplined individuals. They were following intermittent fasting protocols exactly as recommended, some even going beyond. They were consistent, motivated, and well-informed. On paper, everything looked right. But their results told a different story. They would come in describing persistent fatigue that didn't match their effort. Recovery from simple workouts was taking longer. Stubborn fat wasn't budging, especially around the abdomen. And perhaps most concerning, many were quietly losing muscle, despite believing they were doing something beneficial for longevity. At first, it seemed like individual variation, but the pattern kept repeating. Different people, same complaints. That's when I started looking beyond the fasting window itself. Not how long they were fasting, but what was happening immediately after they broke the fast. And that's where everything shifted. I remember one patient in particular, highly consistent, fasting daily, eating clean, doing everything by the book. Yet his energy was declining and his muscle mass had dropped noticeably over just a few months. When we adjusted only one thing, what and how he refed after fasting, the change was rapid. Energy improved. Recovery came back. Muscle loss stabilized. That was the moment it became clear the issue wasn't fasting itself. It was the missing signal afterward, because your body isn't broken after 40. It still has powerful regenerative systems built into it. Stem cells don't disappear. Repair mechanisms don't shut off, but they do become more dependent on precise biological signals to activate properly. And when fasting is done without the right refeeding strategy, those signals get disrupted. The body stays in a holding pattern, conserving, protecting, waiting, instead of rebuilding. But when fasting and refeeding are aligned correctly, something remarkable happens. Those dormant repair systems, especially stem cells, can actually become more responsive, not less. The body shifts from simply clearing damage to actively restoring itself, which means this isn't about quitting intermittent fasting or starting over. It's about correcting one small but critical mistake that most people don't even realize they're making. And once you understand that shift, especially in how you time and structure what comes after your fast, it can completely change how your body responds. By the end of this video, you'll uncover the hidden biological mechanism that controls stem cell activation after fasting, and why most people are unknowingly suppressing regeneration instead of enhancing it. We'll break down the exact mistake in refeeding that interrupts these critical repair signals, and I'll walk you through the 3 key biological pathways that must be balanced for your body to truly rebuild. You'll see why even the most disciplined fasting routines can fall short if these signals aren't addressed, and how small adjustments can completely change the outcome. I'll give you a simple, practical protocol for post-fasting nutrition and timing, something you can implement without complicated rules or supplements. Along the way, we'll highlight the most common fasting mistakes people over 40 make, so you can avoid pitfalls that silently slow recovery, drain energy, and sabotage muscle maintenance. You'll also learn a daily system designed to maximize repair and regeneration without adding stress or extra complexity to your routine. This is about understanding how your body works on a cellular level, so every fast and every meal after it actually contributes to repair, not just temporary calorie control. By the time we're done, you'll not only know what to do, but why it works inside your body. You can expect improved energy, faster recovery, better metabolic balance, and a more resilient body that ages healthier over time. But to fully grasp how to fix this, you first need to see what's actually happening inside your body when fasting is done the wrong way, and why that silent shutdown of repair might already be happening without you even realizing it. Think of your body like a bustling city that never sleeps, constantly repairing and renewing itself. Overnight, the city sends out its cleanup crews to remove damaged buildings, broken roads, and debris left behind from the day. That cleanup phase is exactly what fasting does in your body. It activates autophagy, the natural process that clears out worn-out proteins, old cells, and metabolic waste. But cleaning up is only half the job. After the debris is cleared, the construction crews are supposed to move in with the materials needed to rebuild stronger, healthier structures. That's where refeeding comes in, providing your body with protein, nutrients, and the right signals to activate anabolic pathways. Without this step, the city remains partially dismantled with empty lots where functioning structures should be. In biological terms, this means that while autophagy is running efficiently during fasting, anabolic signals like mTOR remain suppressed if nutrients aren't timed correctly. Stem cells, the master repair engineers, wait for these cues to start rebuilding muscle, organs, and tissue. When they don't receive the signal, repair slows, muscle tissue breaks down, stress hormones like cortisol rise, and overall regeneration is impaired. Here's how it cascades. Prolonged fasting without proper refeeding elevates cortisol, which suppresses mTOR signaling. That suppression keeps stem cells dormant, slowing repair and leaving the body in a partial breakdown state instead of active rebuilding. Muscle tissue is lost, energy levels drop, recovery from daily wear and tear slows, and cellular aging can accelerate silently. It's like running a city where the cleanup crew works perfectly, but the construction crew never shows up with supplies. The streets are cleared, but nothing gets rebuilt. Over time, the city becomes weaker instead of stronger. So the key question becomes, what exactly flips the switch from breakdown to rebuilding, ensuring that fasting truly triggers repair instead of leaving your body in a stalled, stress-driven state? The first mechanism is autophagy activation, which is your body's built-in cleanup crew. During fasting, damaged cells, worn-out proteins, and cellular debris are broken down and removed. It's like sending a team of street sweepers and demolition crews through your city overnight, clearing away broken structures so there's space for rebuilding. This process is highly beneficial. It reduces cellular clutter, prevents damage accumulation, and primes your tissues for repair. But here's the catch: cleanup alone doesn't rebuild anything. If the next phase doesn't happen correctly, the cleared spaces stay empty, and the potential for regeneration is wasted. The second mechanism is anabolic rebound, largely governed by mTOR signaling. Think of this as the construction crew moving in after cleanup, ready to rebuild roads, bridges, and buildings stronger than before. To activate this phase, your body needs protein, nutrients, and proper timing. Without them, the crew shows up but has no materials to work with. Stem cells remain dormant, muscles aren't repaired, and tissues don't regenerate. This is exactly where most people sabotage the benefits of fasting. They skip or poorly time the nutrients needed to flip the switch from breakdown to rebuilding, leaving the repair cycle incomplete. The third mechanism involves hormonal balance, particularly the interplay between stress hormones like cortisol and growth signals that promote repair. Fasting naturally elevates cortisol, which is helpful in moderation because it mobilizes energy and supports cleanup. But prolonged fasting without proper refeeding skews the balance, keeping cortisol high and growth-promoting signals low. It's like a city under constant emergency alert. Cleanup crews are overworked, construction crews are idle, and progress stalls. Timing becomes critical because the window for growth and repair is narrow. Introduce nutrients at the right moment and growth signals surge, stem cells activate, and repair accelerates. Miss it, and the body stays in a stress-dominated state, breaking down rather than rebuilding. Autophagy clears the debris, anabolic rebound rebuilds structures, and hormonal balance ensures the crews work efficiently. And this is where most people unknowingly get it wrong. They focus on fasting length, but neglect the precise sequence and timing needed to turn cleanup into full-scale regeneration. Multiple studies now back what we've been discussing about fasting, repair, and rebuilding. Research from the University of California, Berkeley, has shown that intermittent fasting robustly activates autophagy, helping the body clear damaged cells and proteins. This is the cellular cleanup crew in action, reducing waste and priming tissues for repair. Meanwhile, studies from the University of Texas and the McMaster University Exercise Science Lab highlight the critical role of protein intake in muscle synthesis, particularly after fasting or exercise. Older adults who timed protein consumption after periods of fasting or training were able to preserve muscle mass, maintain strength, and optimize recovery compared with those who didn't. Even a well-timed meal of 20-30 grams of high-quality protein significantly improved anabolic signaling and stem cell activity. Harvard Medical School and the Buck Institute for Research on Aging have published findings showing that stem cell activation declines naturally with age, but it can be rescued when fasting cycles are paired with proper refeeding. These studies measured markers like muscle satellite cell activity, tissue regeneration rates, and hormone levels, demonstrating that the sequence and timing of nutrient intake can directly influence how effectively the body repairs itself. What does this mean for someone over 40? It means that intermittent fasting alone is not enough. Without careful attention to post-fast nutrition and timing, you risk elevated stress hormones, ongoing muscle breakdown, and slower cellular repair. But when done correctly, fasting followed by nutrient signaling preserves muscle, reduces stress markers, and actively engages stem cells to rebuild tissue. The science is consistent. Cleanup without rebuilding leaves your body in a partial breakdown state, while balance between fasting and refeeding maximizes regeneration. Across institutions, from Berkeley to Harvard, McMaster to the Buck Institute, the data supports a simple principle. Extremes alone won't achieve repair. It's the combination of fasting, timed nutrients, and hormonal balance that drives measurable improvements in energy, recovery, and long-term tissue health. This reinforces what we've seen clinically. Intermittent fasting works best not in isolation, but when paired with a strategic, science-backed post-fast approach. Start with a fasting window that's safe and effective for anyone over 40. Aim for 14 to 16 hours of fasting, which allows autophagy to activate without pushing the body into excessive stress. Some people benefit from slightly longer fasts of 18 hours, but anything beyond 20 hours can elevate cortisol and suppress repair signals if not carefully managed. The key is consistency and listening to your body. Overnight fasting plus skipping breakfast is often enough to trigger the cleanup phase. When it's time to break the fast, the first meal is critical. Wait no more than an hour after ending your fast to provide nutrients, but avoid processed carbs, sugary drinks, or high-fat treats first thing. These can spike insulin or inflammation without giving your stem cells the signals they need to rebuild. Think of this as giving the construction crew the right materials at the right time. They won't start without them. Protein is the central element. Aim for 20 to 30 grams of high-quality protein in your first meal. Sources like eggs, Greek yogurt, lean fish, chicken, or plant-based options like lentils and tofu. This provides the amino acids needed to activate mTOR and signal stem cells to start rebuilding tissue. Follow up with additional protein in the second meal post-fast to sustain the anabolic signal. Micronutrient support enhances repair. Nutrients like vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids are essential for tissue regeneration, hormonal balance, and anti-inflammatory support. Include foods like spinach, almonds, salmon, and eggs to naturally cover these bases without supplements. Structure your first 2 meals post-fast carefully. For example, start with a vegetable omelet with avocado and a small portion of berries. Then follow 3 to 4 hours later with grilled salmon, quinoa, and steamed vegetables. This sequence ensures repair signals stay active and prevents stress hormones from dominating. Improper refeeding fails for 2 main reasons. Low protein intake means the stem cells never get the go-ahead to repair, leaving your body in a breakdown state. Processed foods or refined carbs increase inflammation, which suppresses anabolic pathways and slows regeneration. By contrast, nutrient-dense, protein-focused meals given at the right intervals create a clear, strong signal for the body to move from cleanup to rebuilding. This system is precise but simple. Fast consistently within safe windows, break the fast with protein-rich, whole food meals, support repair with key micronutrients, and structure meals to sustain anabolic signaling. Following this protocol ensures that intermittent fasting truly activates stem cells, preserves muscle, enhances recovery, and promotes healthier aging, turning what could be a partial breakdown into full-scale regeneration. Here's what I tell my patients when we talk about fasting and recovery after 40. The timing of breaking your fast matters more than most realize. Aim to eat within an hour after your fasting window ends. This ensures the stem cells get the signal to switch from cleanup to repair. I also emphasize pairing protein with specific nutrients. For example, combining eggs or fish with leafy greens or avocado not only delivers amino acids, but also provides magnesium, vitamin K, and healthy fats that support tissue repair and hormone balance. Rotating fasting lengths can help too. Some days stick to a 14-hour fast, other days extend to 16 or 18 hours. This variation prevents your body from adapting too rigidly and keeps anabolic pathways responsive. Hydration is critical. Drink water throughout the fast and include electrolytes if you're extending it past 16 hours. Dehydration can spike cortisol and blunt stem cell activation, so don't underestimate this simple step. Sleep and stress also play a huge role. I advise patients to prioritize 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep and practice stress-reducing strategies like light movement, breathing exercises, or brief mindfulness breaks. Even the most perfectly timed fasts and meals can fall short if cortisol is constantly elevated. Finally, keep your first post-fast meal simple and repeatable. Consistency teaches your body exactly when and what to expect, reinforcing the repair signals over time. Small tweaks, like adding a handful of nuts or a piece of fruit with your protein, can make a measurable difference in energy, recovery, and muscle maintenance. These practical steps are what turn intermittent fasting from a general health habit into a targeted, effective effective tool for regeneration. By paying attention to timing, nutrient pairing, hydration, sleep, and stress, you maximize the benefits while minimizing the hidden risks that most people over 40 don't even realize are happening inside their bodies. One common mistake is breaking a fast with carbs only, like a bowl of cereal, toast, or juice. While it spikes insulin quickly, it provides almost no protein or repair signals, leaving your stem cells dormant and slowing tissue regeneration. A quick fix is to pair carbs with at least 20-30 grams of high-quality protein and some healthy fats, which triggers anabolic pathways and supports repair. Fasting too long every day is another frequent error. Going beyond 18 to 20 hours consistently can elevate cortisol and suppress mTOR, keeping stem cells in standby mode instead of activating them for repair. The solution is to stick to 14 to 16 hours most days, occasionally stretching to 18 hours if your body tolerates it, ensuring cleanup without triggering excessive stress. Ignoring protein intake is a third mistake. Many over 40 adults underestimate how much protein is needed post-fast. Without it, muscle breakdown continues and repair slows, even if you fasted perfectly. The fix is simple. Include 20-30 grams of protein in your first meal and repeat in the next post-fast meal to sustain the repair signal. Over-relying on supplements instead of real food is another pitfall. While supplements can help, they rarely provide the full spectrum of nutrients needed for repair. Amino acids, vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats all work together to activate stem cells and anabolic pathways. Swap in nutrient-dense whole foods like eggs, salmon, spinach, and nuts for better results. Inconsistent timing is also a hidden trap. If fasting and refeeding windows shift drastically day to day, your body can't predict when repair signals should fire. Stem cells may remain idle, and cortisol can spike unnecessarily. The quick fix is consistency. Schedule your fasts and first meals at roughly the same times daily to train your body's repair mechanisms effectively. These mistakes are common because they seem minor, but each one directly interferes with your body's natural repair and regeneration. Correcting them ensures your fasting isn't just a routine. It becomes a precise tool to maintain muscle, reduce stress, and promote full body recovery after 40. During the first 1 to 2 weeks, most people notice subtle internal shifts. Autophagy is activating and your cells are clearing out accumulated debris, but outward changes are minimal. You might feel slightly lighter, notice small improvements in digestion, or sense a clearer mental focus. These early changes can be disrupted if stress is high, sleep is poor, or fasting windows are inconsistent, so it's important to maintain a steady routine and prioritize rest. Between weeks 3 and 6, more noticeable improvements begin to emerge. Energy levels rise, workouts feel easier, and recovery from daily activity or exercise becomes faster. Muscle soreness decreases, and stubborn fat may start to respond as anabolic signaling becomes more reliable. Stem cells are starting to activate more efficiently, and your body is entering a state where repair and rebuilding are happening in a measurable way. Obstacles during this phase, like skipping protein in post-fast meals or introducing processed foods, can blunt progress, so consistency with nutrition and timing remains critical. By months 2 to 3, deeper repair and metabolic balance become apparent. Muscle preservation stabilizes, body composition improves, and hormonal balance supports not just energy, but mood, focus, and resilience. Cellular repair markers show meaningful improvement, and the body is now cycling effectively between cleanup and rebuilding with every fast. At this stage, the process feels natural and sustainable rather than forced, and small adjustments in fasting length or nutrient timing can further optimize results. Throughout the timeline, obstacles such as stress, poor sleep, and occasional lapses in consistency may slow progress, but they don't undo the foundation you've built. Understanding that the transformation is gradual helps set realistic expectations. Internal cellular shifts come first, noticeable physical and energy improvements follow, and lasting regenerative benefits build over several weeks to months. Following the protocol precisely during these phases maximizes the likelihood of achieving long-term recovery, muscle preservation, and healthier aging after 40, making intermittent fasting a true tool for full-body regeneration rather than just temporary weight control. Your body is far more adaptable than most people realize, even after 40. The cellular damage that builds up over years isn't permanent. Stem cells and repair systems are still there, waiting for the right signals to activate. Every fast, every carefully timed meal, every nutrient you provide is an opportunity for your body to rebuild stronger, healthier, and more resilient. Small changes can have an outsized impact. Adjusting when and how you break your fast, adding the right protein and micronutrients, and prioritizing sleep and hydration might feel minor, but these steps compound over time. They turn a routine habit into a powerful repair mechanism that slows aging, preserves muscle, and supports overall vitality. Consistency is what unlocks the transformation. It's not about perfection or extreme measures. It's about repeating the right signals day after day. Each fast, each post-fast meal, and each moment of rest reinforces the body's natural ability to regenerate. Even if you've struggled with fatigue, stubborn fat, or slower recovery in the past, the science and your own physiology are on your side. By making these adjustments and sticking to the system, you give your body the chance to activate dormant repair systems and reclaim strength and energy you may have thought was fading. This isn't about quick fixes or temporary gains. It's about giving yourself the tools to truly support regeneration, health, and resilience for years to come. Every intentional choice you make compounds, turning small, manageable steps into lasting, transformative results. The core mistake most people over 40 make with intermittent fasting is focusing only on the fast itself while neglecting what comes afterward. Without proper refeeding, stem cells remain dormant, anabolic pathways stay suppressed, and the body can shift from repair into breakdown, leading to muscle loss, slower recovery, and elevated stress. We covered 3 critical mechanisms that govern repair. Autophagy clears out damaged cells and debris, anabolic rebound through mTOR signaling rebuilds muscle and tissue, and hormonal balance ensures the right interplay between stress and growth signals. Each mechanism depends on precise timing and nutrient cues to function optimally. The protocol to fix this is straightforward but powerful. Keep fasting windows within safe limits, 14 to 16 hours for most days, occasionally extending to 18 hours. Break the fast with a protein-rich, nutrient-dense meal, focusing on whole foods and key micronutrients. Structure the first 2 post-fast meals to sustain anabolic signaling, pair protein with vegetables and healthy fats, and rotate fasting lengths to keep your repair systems responsive. Key habits include consistent meal timing, proper hydration, prioritizing sleep, managing stress, and avoiding processed foods immediately after fasting. Together, these steps create a reliable cycle where cleanup and rebuilding occur efficiently, stem cells activate, and your body regenerates rather than deteriorates. By combining the correct fasting strategy with precise post-fast nutrition and supportive lifestyle habits, intermittent fasting becomes a tool for full-body regeneration, improved energy, and healthier aging, not just a method for controlling calories or losing weight. If you found this guide on turning fasting into a full-body repair system helpful, make sure to hit subscribe so you never miss strategies that actually work for people over 40. Share this video with friends or family who are fasting or thinking about starting so they can avoid the hidden mistakes that silently slow repair and aging. In the next video, we'll dive into a deeper, often overlooked factor that affects aging and metabolism at a cellular level, something that works alongside fasting and nutrition to either accelerate repair or quietly sabotage it. Most people don't even realize it exists, yet it can dramatically influence energy, recovery, and long-term health outcomes. You'll discover why this hidden mechanism matters more than diet alone, how it interacts with your stem cells, and simple tweaks you can make to optimize it immediately. The surprising part is that fixing this one overlooked factor can amplify the benefits of every fast, every meal, and every recovery habit you already follow. without adding extra stress or complicated routines. So stay tuned, because once you understand this hidden lever, you'll see why some people over 40 rebuild muscle, boost energy, and feel younger faster, while others keep spinning their wheels despite doing everything right. What exactly is this factor, and how can you use it to unlock your body's full regenerative potential? We'll reveal it in the next video.